Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com talking about Asia's climate ambitions. 1 year ago, Nobel laureate Al Gore hailed China's fight against climate change at the Madrid Climate Conference. December 12, 2019, former United States Vice President Al Gore on Thursday praised China's achievements in fighting against climate change and developing renewable energy. That conference also featured 17-year-old climate expert Greta Thunberg from Sweden. Greta was in the United States prior to the conference and didn't want to fly on an airplane to Madrid because she said that would ruin the climate. Instead, Greta flew her boat skipper from the United Kingdom to the United States so that Greta could arrive at the Iberian Peninsula by boat in a marvelous display of virtue signaling. But let's get back to China. 6 weeks ago, Bloomberg ran this article. Asia's climate ambitions set to drive up green bond sales. Asian companies need to raise money for a move to carbon neutrality. That was 6 weeks ago, but now Bloomberg has a very different story. Cold snap prompts fuel oil frenzy and power starved Asia. Freeze to lift global oil demand at least 1 million barrels per day. Japan's refiners asked to supply more fuel oil to utilities. Bloomberg is confusing me. 6 weeks ago they said that Asia was switching over to wind and solar, and now they say that Asia is demanding a huge increase in the amount of fuel oil they're burning. It's almost like imaginary green energy doesn't actually keep people warm. Experts say that this is one of the hottest years ever and that snow is a thing of the past, but Asia's been having record cold and record snow. 7 feet of snow in Japan, 1,000 vehicles trapped overnight by record snowfall. Record cold weather in China sends power demand through the roof. Exceptionally cold weather sweeping through China has caused a huge increase in power demand in the world's largest energy consumer. Beijing recorded a temperature of minus 19.6 degrees Celsius on January 7th, its lowest since 1967, amid a cold wave sweeping across most regions in China. And you can see that China's electricity consumption has tripled since 2008, when Barack Obama said he began to heal the planet and slow the rise of the seas. This is the current weather map in Asia during what experts call one of the hottest years ever. It's minus 63 degrees Fahrenheit. Global warming isn't keeping people warm in Asia, and neither are wind and solar power. They're being kept alive with fossil fuels, a large increase in their usage this winter. And Bill Gates wants to make it even colder and make solar energy even less reliable. He wants to pollute the upper atmosphere to reduce the amount of solar radiation reaching the Earth's surface. Apparently, Bill Gates believes that the minus 63 degrees in Asia right now isn't cold enough, and he wants to make it even colder. Bill Gates is a very goal-oriented person. I wonder if he's trying to get the temperature in Asia down to minus 70 degrees or perhaps minus 80 degrees. It's pretty likely that Joe Biden will continue touting China's climate progress just like he did while he was vice president. But the reality is that China's CO2 emissions and those around the world are skyrocketing, even as they decline in the United States. U.S. emissions have been declining for the past 15 years. China's CO2 emissions are growing, and they're now double those of the United States. As I mentioned earlier, global warming isn't keeping people warm. Wind and solar power aren't keeping very many people warm, but fossil fuels are. Without fossil fuels, billions of people would be dead in a matter of weeks or months. And not only that, if fossil fuels weren't available, people would go out and cut down every single tree for firewood, and the air would be thick with smoke. That's the reason I left the environmental movement a long time ago, because they are working for self-defeating goals which hurt the environment. Joe Biden has promised to end fossil fuels, which would be catastrophic.
But kiddo, I want you to just take a look, okay? You don't have to agree, but I want you to look in my eyes. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel, and I am not going to cooperate. Okay?
China is going to keep building new coal-fired power plants, and they're going to keep increasing their CO2 emissions. And their Manchurian candidate in the United States is apparently going to try to shut down the U.S. energy supply. I'm doing everything I can to raise awareness of how ridiculous and dangerous the current situation is in the United States. Toto is very happy he has a nice fossil fuel powered house to stay warm in. It's pretty cold here in Wyoming during the winter. You can visit him and Kyrie on the web at realclimatescience.com.